If you enjoy the surround sound of a good brass band, and who doesn't, then we're in for a real treat here on Brekkie. The world-renowned Black Dyke Band is currently touring Australia, and right now, 5 members of the band with their instruments are right here with us in the breakfast studio. They're from the Yorkshire village of Queensbury in the UK, and they were first formed 150 years ago. They've been touring Australia, as I said. The tour is about to wind up. It's their first tour to Australia in 21 years. I'm pleased to say we've been joined in the studio by the principal conductor, Nicholas Childs. He's the director of music and the conductor, and the 5 band members, David, Sandy, Joe and Tom. Nicholas, welcome to breakfast.
Nice to see you.
Nicholas, the history of this band is long and rich. 150 years ago it was formed. Take us back to that time.
Well, of course, at this time it's a part of the Industrial Revolution, and you've got the woolen mills and the coal mines, and I guess these people wanted to know where all the where workers were going to be at night, so they formed male voice choirs and brass bands, and at this point, of course, they'd only all have to walk probably around about 20 metres to go to a band practice. Of course, nowadays, our players in the band travel around about 250 kilometres to every band practice.
Just to come to practice?
Absolutely, and we practice twice a week. We have at least one concert every week. We carry out around about 6 European tours, and of course we're really enjoying our Australian tour at the moment.
I'll bet you are. So you're busy, and the band members are prepared to do that travel simply because this is the best brass band?
Exactly. They do it because they want to. If I told you that technically they all have other professional jobs, so they're amateurs in status, but Olympian in standard.
Is it? It's not a paying gig then, even though you're the best brass band in the world?
Exactly. They do it because they want to do it. I think that's the difference. When you've got the passion that you want to play at this level, you can tell the difference. And, you know, I often say to people, the difference between a symphony concert and a brass band concert, you come out the concert with a smile on your face.
You still rehearse in the same room as the original band rehearsed in 150 years ago. Why is that, and how important is this history to the band?
Well, I don't know why it's so important. It is a history, and we're proud of our past, but we realise this what we do in the future that's going to really count. But if I told you we still practice on the same music stands that are wooden, they used to be originally about 6 feet high, 2 meters high, and then a carpenter came in and just lowered them so they could actually sit in their rehearsals. But everything else, the acoustic, it's really just a great acoustic to practice in, and it is obviously proven to be something that makes the band sound just like it does.
Not only are you a great brass band, you're pretty famous. You've played with the Beatles.
Well,
you played with a lot of famous people, but the Beatles.
The Beatles is a great story because, in the 60s, the Beatles were on side B. Black Dyke were on side A. They played a tune called...
Those were the days, fellas.
They were. And they enjoyed them so much that they played on side B, and they joined them on the Yellow Submarine. So every time you hear... it's the Black Dyke Band.
Fantastic. Now, brass bands, in a sense... I think of the past. But do you have trouble attracting young members?
We don't, in the sense of it's only the same as a symphony orchestra. It's not the most sexiest thing you can do. But I've got to say, once you find that passion, you'll never leave it forever. You know, for the people in the band, when you consider they've already played in Carnegie Hall, Royal Albert Hall, the one thing was missing, and we achieved it last night, was of course the Opera House.
The Opera House, fantastic. Well, you've achieved even more now. You're here live in the breakfast studio. Well, at least 5 of you. What are we going to hear, Nicholas?
We're going to hear a great little overture, which is called The Impresario.
I feel like clapping. It's a lovely sound, isn't it? Shame we can't keep the boys here all day to keep going. And that's only 5 of them, ladies and gents. There's 30 on stage at the Opera House last night. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them as the Black Dyke Band toured around Australia. Sadly, you're at the end of the tour, Nicholas.
We are, and we're at the Hill Centre tonight and looking forward to our farewell concert.
But you've had a great time?
Fantastic time. We've met so many different friends, and I'm sure that we won't be waiting another 21 years before we come back to Australia.
Okay. Nicholas Childs is the conductor of the Black Dyke Band. They're the most famous band in the world. In the breakfast studio this morning, we also had Joe and David and Sandy and Tom and another Joe, I think. Thanks, guys. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.